Hey, John, Max Miller here from NHL.com and Sharks Hockey Digest. Congratulations on the contract.
Thank you.
Overall, what was, a long run with Edmonton and obviously the Sharks are in a different situation. What was maybe the reasoning why you wanted to come to San Jose instead of maybe some other places if you had offers?
Yeah, I think it's a good fit. I'm obviously very excited with all the young forwards up front. A lot of skill. Been up in the draft a lot. So that's exciting for sure. And if I just look at myself, I think it's a great opportunity to me to come to a younger team, a team that wants to get better. And if I look at myself, I need to obviously play games. I haven't played much games in the last 2 years, except for in the playoffs. And I think coming to San Jose, there's a big opportunity for me to get better and prove that I can still play hockey and play big minutes as well. I think that was one of the key things that knowing that I would get the chance to play minutes, not just be in the lineup, but actually play minutes as well.
Obviously that opportunity is there and the Sharks, we talked to Mike yesterday. He mentioned that, they needed a guy to run a power play, and that's something you've done in the past. When you look at the young talent, the Celebrini and Will Smith and Eklund and Michael Misa, as a player who just played with Connor McDavid and has an elite power play like that, I mean, does does that aspect, it's just specifically the power play, how much can that really just help a player's confidence, especially in your position when you're surrounded with players like that?
Yeah, of course it does, but I think that goes hand in hand. If you play well 5-on-5, it's ultimately going to be good on the power play too. If I look at myself and just trying to get my confidence on the power play, that's not how it's going to work. It has to be the overall game, and when you feel good about your 5-on-5 game and doing all the right things, and especially all the small things, the power play is going to take care of itself too. But obviously, in a good power play too, you build a lot of chemistry. If you look at all the top power plays in the league, they've been together for a lot of years, and who knows? I mean, coming into the power play, obviously high end talent. You never know what's going to happen, but I'm really excited to build on something that can be really good.
One thing that Mike told us yesterday is just what they when they watched you play in the playoffs and the end of the season with how you skated, they felt you're getting healthier and healthier after the hip injury. How do you feel where you're at? I mean, it's a long recovery. Obviously, you're playing again, but how do you feel just overall? Do you feel like you're back to where you want to be? You're and still growing, or where do you feel you're at that
No,
that recovery stage?
yeah, no, I think I want to say it's good enough to be good, but there is for sure a room for it to get better. I think when I signed with Edmonton and coming back, I knew it was going to be a process. I don't think the Four Nations break helped. Obviously, coming back and playing 5 games and then 2 week long break. Obviously, I was still skating, but at that time, I would have loved to just kept playing, but that didn't happen. And then as we started up after the Four Nations break, I ended up with an ankle infection. Took a shot off the ankle and it got infected, so I started missing time from that too. But as we got into the playoffs and I started playing, I really felt like game by game, but especially week by week, it just started to get better and better, and I started to feel more comfortable with my new hips. It's obviously very different from it was in the past, but that's the exciting thing. Is I felt like it just got better and better throughout the playoffs, and who knows, like with a full healthy summer here of just starting to work out normally again instead of just doing rehab and then starting skating hopefully here pretty soon back home in Sweden and getting ready. I feel like it's just going to continue to get better and better.
And then some of the details of the contract were reported today. Something with a no trade clause through January 30th. Is that just what does that give you, right? You mentioned that summer. Does that kind of go hand in hand with the training and feeling safe and being able to kind of get to where you want to go, not only injury wise, but getting your game back to the level you want it to?
Yeah, I think so. I think with the clause, it's just giving you. I think it's just giving you a little bit more power as a player to be able to control a little bit what's going to happen, even if ultimately the goal is obviously to sign here and the team is going to win. And if the team plays good and we win, I know that I should probably be a big part of that, and that means that I'm playing good too. And who knows what's going to happen then? So that's how I look at it. But uh, back to your question, just of having that clause, I just think it gives you an opportunity as a player to be able to control a little bit if things go in another direction.
Thanks. Congratulations. Can't wait to meet you here in San Jose.
Thank you.
Curtis.
Hey John, this is Curtis Pashelka from the San Jose Mercury News. Thanks for doing this today. Just asking about the clause. Was that something that the Sharks offered that maybe some other teams weren't willing to do?
Uh, I mean, I'm very happy with the work of my agent. This is really nothing that I'm asking for individually. This is just something that me and my agent discussing and that he thinks is the best way to do it. And I trust him because he has all the experience from doing this for that many years. So all of that I've just left to him. And then we're just discussing overall what would be the best fit.
You mentioned the opportunity to play bigger minutes with the Sharks. What are that? You've had some conversations already with Ryan Warsofsky about what you might be asked to do, whether that's maybe a top pair role or a second pair role. Is that kind of those things already been talked about? Maybe.
No, no, that's too fresh. We talked briefly on the phone yesterday, and obviously welcoming me to the team and expecting me to be a big part of the decor and playing power play. But where that slots in, we don't know yet. But I do think obviously I'm gonna get all the chances to prove that I could be a top pair or a top four and ultimately be a big part of the power play as well. I think it's just up to me to go grab it.
Even after 11, 12 years in the league, do you still feel you have something to prove this season?
Absolutely. I think everyone uh, thinks that too, but I mean, I'm always going to be the first one to look myself in the mirror, and I do for sure. I mean, it's been a bumpy ride. I'm not going to lie, and I mean that's the exciting thing that you can never be happy. And if you look at all the best players in the world, they always continue to want to get better. And I mean, I feel like I'm the same way that way. You always want to become better and better, and for me, that's just true. I mean, it's been a bumpy ride. I've been on a lot of teams over these last few years, and I mean that just shows that I still have to prove myself, and I'm excited about it. I mean, I missed time because of my hips and all that, but at the same time, like I have to come to a team and show that I can be a big part of that team, and then we'll see what happens.
I mean, earlier in your career, you were playing 23, 24 minutes a night. Do you feel comfortable that if asked, you could do the same thing again this year, play that kind of role?
Yes, I believe it. I believe so. And that's the exciting thing because I feel like, yeah, I mean, it's still a learning process a little bit with my hips, but um, the pain and the grindness that I felt in the past is starting to fade a lot more. So who knows? But yeah, I mean, conditioning wise, I feel the same way.
The Sharks, there's optimism for the future, of course, but the team is still looked at being one is in a rebuild. Do you kind of have to prepare yourself a little bit for that, and that there's going to be could be some tough times here this upcoming season. Still a pretty young team, with a lot of new faces, but you kind of look at it like this could be there could be some bumpy times ahead, even though that there's a lot of optimism.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if I agree with that it's still a rebuild. I think they've done the rebuild and now they're probably just building. They have all the assets there. Uh, so that's very exciting. But yeah, I mean, you can never have a perfect season. Every team and every game has been you can't be perfect 60 minutes. It's going to be a bumpy ride, and through those hard times, or you learn a lot. It's a learning process, right? And I think that's what this team is probably. They need to take that next step of just learning that because I think all the talent and all the skill is all there, but then you just have to understand how it is to win games.
Would you like to? I know it's a 1 year deal. Are you open to maybe signing something longer term with the Sharks if it turns out to be a fit here in San Jose and like you said, you're optimistic about the future. Is that something that you might consider down the road? Because obviously, we'll look at, 1 year contract guys on expiring deals might get traded at the deadline kind of thing. But is that something you're open to?
Yeah, I mean that's the plan for sure. If things go well and the team, like I said, if the team wins, I feel like I'm gonna be a part of that too, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's probably the main thing here. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, John.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Hey, John. Shang Peng, San Jose Hockey Now. Nice to meet you. I wanted to ask you first, you've talked about your hip injury and the ordeal that it was. From what I've read, you've dealt with just hip issues since maybe like your mid-20s and stuff. So just you just talk about just like how that worsened over the years.
Yeah. I mean, I had my first double hip surgery when I was 19, when I played back home in Sweden, and ultimately that didn't really help, and we ended up doing the same surgery again when I was 21. So that probably wasn't ideal, but that was just the reality at that time. So I had two double hip surgeries before I moved over to North America, and uh, I was playing, and I mean, I could still feel like it was bothering me, but eventually you just knew that having two double hip surgeries and trying to get more motion, it's ultimately going to break down and create a lot of arthritis in your hips, and create less movement and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, it's been there in my entire professional hockey life, really. But over the last, I would say, probably 4 or 5 years, it's been a grind. I mean, I've been trying to do everything that I can to be able to be the player I know I can be out there. But at the end of the day, when I felt like I really couldn't move anymore, it was just time to do it. And unfortunately, it happened the way it happened. But at the end of the day, I just felt like if I'm going to play this game and I can't play the way I can. I mean, I have to do this. And I did a lot of research with it too, with talking to obviously Patrick Kane and Nick Backstrom and those guys. And I've had great feedback, and talking to the surgeon in New York as well. He's been doing a lot of different pro athletes, and it's still a pretty fresh surgery that you do, but I do feel like it's been a lot better already than it's been in the past, but it's still a lot to get used to, and because it's just different stuff than you're used to. It's metal in your hips now, so it's different for sure. But like I said, it's just continuing to get better and better. And the exciting thing too is after the playoff run, when you're done and you start relaxing. In the past, when I've done that, it's almost like the hips has gotten worse. But over this past week, since we lost in the finals, it's just continuing to feeling a lot better and better, just living a normal life. So that's the exciting thing. I feel like it's really trending in the right direction here.
Is it fair to say, to put a number on it, that this is the best you've felt in, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's still like I said, it's a learning process, still of getting used to everything, and some small bumps here and there, but that's something that every professional athlete is dealing with. And like I said, that's the exciting thing. I have whatever it is, 3 months here now to make it even better, and then I'm gonna play a full season and see how it feels. But I'm pretty confident that this is just gonna continue to get better and better.
When's the last time you were able to have kind of what you would consider a full summer of training?
So, uh, it's probably like 5, 6 years ago, I would say.
And how excited are you to do that now?
Yeah, no, it is exciting. I mean, it's still going to be a lot of these small kind of things that you do to stay on top of the hips, but then being able to actually start building up and train for power, which you need obviously on the ice, and skating the way you want to as well. So it's exciting.
Was it rewarding during the playoffs? I don't know if you had a moment during the playoffs where it just felt good that, felt like you turned a corner maybe in your recovery. Like, did you have that moment where it felt good to get there, to be in that place?
Yeah, I think so. And it actually happened like right before the playoffs. I mean, the hips were up and down a little bit, and then I had the ankle infection, and it was kind of like, okay, is this really happening? But for some reason, I don't know why, but when I took that time off for my ankle, because I couldn't really do anything, and I had different meds to help with the infection, but also the swallowing on the ankle, it started feeling a lot better in the hips too. And as I was cleared and good to go with skating again, I just felt like I had a different stride. And as soon as you feel that, because you're a perfectionist, it was almost like the confidence of it just clicked like, oh, this is feeling really good. I feel like I can skate the way I expect myself to skate. So that was kind of like where I was like, okay, this is maybe turning the corner right now. So it was like right prior to the playoffs, but then obviously just game by game and series by series, it just continuing to get better. And then being able to play in the Stanley Cup final, knowing that you almost missed 2 full years, and then jumping right into the playoffs, being able to battle on that level was for sure very exciting for me.
And last one for me, and thanks so much for doing this. Not to talk too much about the past, but when we're talking 5 years ago, you've had two top six Norris finishes in your career up to that point, I think. And you talked a little bit about this is, you want to prove yourself again. Do you see this as a chance to kind of get your career back on the track that it was, right now?
Yeah, I mean, yes, for sure. I mean, you can look at it that way, but at that time I was a lot younger. I'm a lot older now, but what I think that I learned throughout these past few years when I've been bumping around in different teams and the body has been some kind of a mess, I feel like I gained a lot of experience of knowing that I can play a different game too, because I felt like it was frustrating for sure when it just started to continue to get worse that I wasn't able to play the game or play the game how I wanted to play the game. So I had to learn and adapt how to play a little bit different. And I think moving forward, knowing that I had to play a different way when I was injured, it helped a lot of knowing now that when I'm healthy and I feel a lot better, I can play the game that I want to, but I can also lean back and knowing that I don't have to try to create all the time. And I just learn more experience in my own game that I can just let the game come to me and not trying to chase it too much.
All right, well, John, I look forward to meeting you and I appreciate your answers.
Thank you.
We'll go to Sebastian.
Sebastian Noren, NHL.com, Sweden. Hey, Jon. I just want to ask you, what did you sort of learn with the deep run here in the playoffs with the Oilers, and what, that experience, what can you sort of teach the younger guys here in San Jose?
Yeah, no, it's an unreal experience. I mean, when I played in Dallas, we went to the Stanley Cup Finals. It was the COVID year. It was obviously an empty arena, but you could kind of feel that the game kind of still meant something, knowing that it was the final. And when we lost that, I just said, I just hope I have a chance to play in the finals again because it's really different. It's a great experience, and I think you have to get through the experience of that to learn how to win. It is a little bit of a different game in the playoffs, obviously, but I think with the 2 point system that we have in the NHL too, all the points are very important. So I think you just need to learn as a team how you need to play to win in different fashions. And if it's to score a lot of goals, or if it's to have a really good special teams, or if it's a one game or a 1-0 game or whatever, I think you just have to create a belief and a confidence within your team that you know that you always have a chance to win and you can always win in different ways. I would say I think that's the biggest experience from all of that, but that's something that you create together with your core as a team through a lot of years knowing each other as well.
And then, you're going to be one of the older guys now on the team. I'm sort of wondering, how do you see, about the opportunity to take on more of a mentor role? And did you have, like, who are the guys that you learned from that you would maybe try and emulate sort of their leadership styles?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just going to be myself. I feel like some players for sure comes and leans towards you. And if that's the case, that's great. But like I said, I'm just gonna be myself, and I do think that that's gonna be enough. But yeah, over my career, I played with a lot of really great players and great leaders, especially from back, obviously in my Dallas time. When I first came in with my first teammate partner, Alex Goligoski, he was huge for me. We played together for 2 years, I think, 2 or 3 years, and then just being able to be around a guy like Jamie Benn and those guys. And towards as I was getting older in Dallas too, obviously we brought in Joe Pavelski, and I think that really changed our team in Dallas. With him coming in with all the experience that he had, and being a part of a San Jose team that was that good for many years, and he was the captain there as well. I think that speaks for itself that the Stars team at that time took another step as well. And I think if you ask any player that played with Pavelski, I think everyone would say that he's probably one of the best teammates that they ever had.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll finish up with Eric, who's got some questions in Swedish.
Thank you so much for letting me talk here in Swedish. I appreciate it. Men vi tar det här på svenska då, det är för SVT Sport. Vi har ju sett dig komma tillbaka nu här från skadebekymmer och massa struliga år. Så den naturliga första frågan är ju hur känns kroppen efter att du har gått igenom ett tufft slutspel?
Nej, det känns bra. Som jag sa på engelska där innan, alltså, innan när man har haft en lång säsong och slutspel och så innan, så liksom när man väl slappnar av och stressen och pressen släpper lite, så är det nästan som att det blir värre liksom. Det blir nästan mer inflammation i kroppen och där man har haft ont innan, men så har det verkligen inte varit. Jag sa det till min fru häromdagen att det är sjukt liksom vad bra det känns nu ändå, direkt efter säsongen. Det är liksom inte, jag har inte haft liksom någon känning alls sådär, så att det känns ju väldigt bra och väldigt kul såklart, och plus det då att kunna gå in och ha en hel sommar här och göra sig redo igen och gå vidare. Det känns kul.
Ja, jag kan verkligen förstå att det är en efterlängtad känsla som du har just nu i sådana fall. Och kan det här liksom vara en ny start på karriären på något sätt, när du liksom för en gångs skull känner att men som du var inne på, att nu känns det ju bra?
Ja, alltså både ja och nej. Alltså ny start på karriären. Det blir det väl på sätt och vis, men samtidigt så får jag väl se vart det bär. Men jag väntar mig kanske inte komma in så som jag gjorde när jag var 23-24 heller, utan det kommer ju fortfarande vara lite annorlunda. Men som jag sagt, jag tycker att jag samlar på mig rätt mycket erfarenhet genom de här åren som har varit. Och att kunna komma tillbaka i alla fall och känna att man kan röra sig på det sättet som man vill, och förmodligen kunna spela på det sättet som man vill också, och vara med och bidra på det sättet, så får man väl se vart det bär också liksom.
Och nu, du kommer ju ändå till ett väldigt ungt och talangfyllt San Jose här. Hur ser du på möjligheten att kanske vara med på en ganska speciell resa framåt där?
Ja, nej, det känns såklart jätteintressant. Som jag sa, jag tycker, om du kollar på, det är ett ungt lag, men det ser väldigt ljust in för framtiden. Samtidigt som att jag tycker väl att det laget och jag också, vi ska ta nästa steg nu tillsammans liksom. Som jag sa, om laget spelar bra så har jag förmodligen haft en del i det också. I och med att jag kommer komma in och förmodligen få den rollen som jag vill. Och det var väl det som var lite nyckeln också här inför signeringen, att veta att jag kommer till ett lag där jag får den rollen, att kunna få spela mycket minuter, vilket också gör att jag kommer tillbaka och visar att liksom, det kommer att hålla och jag är tillbaka och kan spela på det sätt som jag vill.
Mm. Är det så att du har valt ett liksom, ställe som du känner att ja, men, det här är bra för min karriär och det här är ett ställe som jag skulle kunna tänka mig att stanna lite längre tid på med tanke på att det har varit lite röriga år?
Absolut. Det är det som är tanken med det också. Få komma in i den situationen som den här organisationen är i nu. Känns ju väldigt inspirerande. De är på väg att ta sig uppåt här nu. Och vi ska ju försöka ta nästa kliv här nu direkt. Och som jag sa, om laget spelar bra och jag spelar bra så vet man inte om vad som kan hända under säsongen. Liksom, om man börjar diskutera någon förlängningen eller vad det skulle vara. Liksom. Men det var väl det vi snackade om lite nu. Att vi kommer börja med ett år här och så ser vi vad som händer. Och tycker båda parterna att det känns som ett bra samarbete så får vi se vad som kommer till framtiden.
Mm. Last question here, sista frågan. Vad tror du att vi kommer kunna få se för version av Klingberg i år i NHL?
Men jag hoppas ju såklart att jag ska fortsätta spela lite så som jag gjorde i slutspelet. Jag hade väl lite av en annorlunda roll än vad jag kanske har varit van vid innan. Jag har haft väldigt mycket speltid och i powerplay offensiva minuter. Nu var jag väl lite mer depth player, att jag spelar inte någon special teams men spelar väl ändå 5 mot 5 och sådär. Och jag vill väl kunna bygga vidare och spela på det sättet men sen kunna ta större minuter och ansvarstagande både offensivt och defensivt hoppas jag på.
Ja, men tack så mycket. Thank you.
Tack.